Big day, another big release of a Bollywood biggie coming your way, and my god, there are a lot of expectations despite this being a remake of a very popular Tamil film. Hindi cinema desperately needs the big names to deliver, and while the chips are really down for projects, especially if they are remakes, there seems to be a genuine buzz and curiosity for Vikram Vedha, probably because of the talent involved and people's genuine want to know how to interpret these characters. The teaser dropped, and my god, do I have a lot of opinions, so buckle up and let's talk about a few things I'm skeptical about and the ones that I totally resonate with. The skepticism. Memory of the original. The 2017 movie presented a crisp screenplay of what was presumably a cat and mouse chase between the good versus bad. The film attempted and did so very well showcase the grey shades of individuals rather than simplistic take of most commercial thrillers, where the good guy perseveres in catching hold of the bad guy. Every instance where Vikram and Vedha would cross paths with one another, a moral dilemma through storytelling by Vedha would even interest audiences of what is the right answer. This would bring up the same predicament that Vikramaditya would find himself in, as stories narrated by Betal would have different outcomes. Circumstances would become even more convoluted as instances, relationships and motivations become grey rather than polarizing. The screenplay was assisted with intense performances by both Madhavan and Vijay Sethupathi, a delicious back and forth that enhanced the storytelling tenfold, as it just showcased capable actors absolutely thriving in an interesting script handed to them. While Madhavan came across as the quintessential no-nonsense cop who presumably has his morality and others in check, Vedha came across as the more interesting and layered character, being a direct consequence to his experiences, having an unhinged, almost demonic quality who thrives in the sense of anarchy around him. Sethupathi absolutely sunk his teeth into the role, translating into such an engaging performance, leading to many expectations with the fact that Hrithik Roshan was going to play the same role. And I understand totally for people who hold the original film really close to their heart that it's going to be really tough to be invested in this movie. The Awadh accent. I think accents in Bollywood movies can be a total hit and a miss. There are many cases that come flashing before my eyes on how much of a train wreck they become due to the half-ass attempt by the talent, and even though Hrithik's dialogue delivery does not come across as uncomfortable totally, it does have my red flags on high alert. I just hope it's consistent and not another blunder when it comes to accents being attempted, but barely due research being done by the talent involved and making it authentic. The good. Holding on to the feel of the BGM. One of the most engaging aspects of the original film was the background score composed by Sam CS. The track Karupa Vilai that especially transitions in moments to highlight the character of Vedha really does pump up the mood of the audience. Exactly what was required for mass commercial thrillers, presented on this scale with such known actors. While Vishal Shekhar have a monumental task to match up to the tunes provided in the original film, it really does seem to echo the same feel of the original background score. A little more exhilarating, a little more amped up in the decibel level, much needed for the entry and duels between Vikram and Vedha. I almost felt like the music was giving the feels of Vishal and his pentagram days, and that's always a good sign. The last few seconds of the teaser, I was glad that they held on to the feel of the Sam CS background music. The gritty tone. One of the biggest gripes with Hindi film adaptations is that they barely Indianize the similar premise. When you look at thrillers like Badla or Dobara or even Chehre, other than a mere random location in India, there is barely an attempt to transport you to a specific part of India and truly represent the culture and the type of people one would come across there. Unlike the case of adaptations of Vishal Bharadwaj, say, who really is a master of the skill of telling Shakespearean stories with a specific tonality of either UP or Kashmir and make it come across as absolutely seamless. And the vision of Pushkar Gayatri to really make this film its own seems to be clear from the teaser. They've set this film in UP as it's clear that Hrithik is sporting an Awadh accent, but the film does not look like just a poor retelling, but an attempt to add its own elements to allow for a unique experience. What I'm scared, as I previously said, is that the accent can most times come in and out for Hrithik, as we saw in Super 30 with what he attempted with the Bihari accent. So I hope it won't be the same case this time. I'm still saying my red flags are still on high alert. Supporting characters. While the main theme of the film is the tales and mystery Vikram has to solve each time Vedha tells him a story, for those who have seen the original Tamil film know that one of the emotional beats of the film that resonated the most with audiences was the bond between Vedha and Pulli, his younger brother played by Kathir. I think it's an absolute perfect casting to get Rohit Saraf for this role, as the character has to channelize a sense of naivety and innocence, which really does resonate with the demeanor of Rohit Saraf. I think that's a great casting decision, and to top that even more, I think one needed a feisty actor to play Madhavan's lawyer wife, Shraddha Srinath, and who better to combat her own husband professionally than Radhika Apte. I think they've got the supporting casting decisions on point with respect to the personalities. The duo together. One of the main reasons why I'm still hooked on to at least being curious about Vikram Vedha is the inventive decision taken to cast Hrithik Roshan and Saif Ali Khan together. Both extremely capable actors that are in absolute great form when it comes to their craft, creating a really exciting venture, as I would love to see their chemistry with one another. More than that, I think seeing Hrithik Roshan attempt an extremely dark role seems thoroughly exciting, as he is not even attempting to mimic Vijay Sethupathi, but make it his own. An aspect that also reinstates some kind of faith within me regarding the remake and the history of Hrithik Roshan saying yes to an iconic film like Agnipath was that he never mimicked Amitabh Bachchan and that iconic role, and made Vijay his own. I saw some people trolling Hrithik for this frame, but it's representative of a character consumed by rage. You would know if you have the context of the original film, but the madness in his eyes is essentially what the character has experienced and fitting for the circumstances. Saif seems to be really comfortable in this role, making out for me to believe that there are going to be some solid performances in this film. I won't lie, however, I was shocked that Saif didn't even have a single dialogue in the teaser. You could give a man one line at least, come on. This is one of the main reasons why I'm torn. I understand the sentiment of the people that really hold the original film and consider and want it to remain untouched, but the teaser has me kind of pumped. I may be split from the idea of a remake in itself, but I have to say the talent and the first cut still makes me curious of what they may have